You know the feeling. You wake up with your heart hammering against your ribs. You're drenched in sweat. You feel a profound sense of loss or terror or just that something significant has just happened. You turn to your partner or you grab your phone, desperate to explain what just happened. You say, "I was in my childhood home, but it was also a spaceship. And it was trying to save my dog, but my dog was actually a loaf of bread." And the moment you say it out loud, the feeling evaporates. It sounds ridiculous, because it is ridiculous. But 5 minutes ago, it was the most important thing in the world. It felt more real than the pillow your head is resting on. Here is a statistic that might actually keep you up at night. The average human spends about 2 hours every single night dreaming. That adds up to roughly 6 years of your life. 6 years spent living in a hallucination. Evolution is usually pretty efficient. It doesn't typically waste energy on things that don't matter. So why does the human brain, the most complex object in the known universe, dedicate 6 years of its existence to generating nonsensical movies about teeth falling out or showing up to math class naked? Why do dreams feel so incredibly profound when we're in them, even when they're absolute nonsense? The answer to that isn't in a dream dictionary. The answer lies in the biological architecture of your brain. And it turns out your brain has a very good reason for lying to you. For as long as we've had language, we've been trying to solve dreams. We treat them like a lost mythological text written in a coded cipher. In the ancient world, the assumption was usually external. Dreams were direct messages from the gods, or visitations from ancestors, or prophecies about the harvest. If you dreamt of a snake, you didn't assume it was because you saw a snake in the garden yesterday. You assumed the universe was trying to tell you something about your enemies. Then we moved inward. We got Sigmund Freud. Now, Freud had a lot of ideas. Most of them haven't aged particularly well, but he popularized the idea that dreams were wish fulfillment. He viewed the dream as a sensor. Your subconscious has some dark, repressed urge, and your dream mind disguises it as a symbol to sneak it past your moral defenses. So in the Freudian view, the cigar is never just a cigar, it's always something else, something usually embarrassing. But then modern neuroscience showed up and swung the pendulum to the complete opposite side. In the late 20th century, we got the activation synthesis theory. This is the scientific version of saying it's all just noise. The theory basically says that while you sleep, your brainstem fires off random electrical impulses to keep the machinery running. Your cortex, the thinking part of your brain, receives these random sparks and tries to make sense of them. It stitches them together into a story because that's what humans do. We tell stories. So according to this view, dreaming is just your brain's screensaver. It's static. It's random neurons misfiring while the janitor mops the floors. But this is where we run into a problem. If dreams are just random static, why do they hurt? If I generated a random string of words right now, toaster, purple, calculus, Friday, you wouldn't burst into tears. You wouldn't wake up with a lingering sense of dread that ruins your entire morning. Random noise should not carry emotional weight, but dreams do. We have all had dreams that left us feeling heartbroken, or euphoric, or terrified, long after we woke up. The misconception we all fall for is this. We think the story is the important part. We think the significance is hidden in the plot of the dream. We think we need to figure out why the dog was a loaf of bread. But what if the plot is a distraction? What if we have been trying to read the subtitles when we should have been listening to the music? To understand why the absurd feels so significant, we have to stop looking at what we dream and start looking at how we dream. We need to look at what happens to your brain when the lights go out. We spend most of our 2 hours of nightly dreaming in what's called REM sleep, rapid eye movement. This is the stage where the magic happens, or perhaps where the chaos happens. During REM, your brain state is radically different from when you're awake. Two key areas flip their activity level. First, your prefrontal cortex. That's the CEO of your brain. It handles logic, rational thought, judgment, and time perception. When you enter REM, the prefrontal cortex essentially goes dormant. It clocks out for the night. This is why you never stop in the middle of a dream and ask yourself, why am I in a car of toast driving down a river of pudding? Your rational thought processor is asleep. Second, your amygdala. That's the emotional alarm bell of your brain. It is responsible for processing intense feelings, especially fear and anxiety. While the logic center is sleeping, the amygdala fires up. Studies show it can be up to 30% more active during REM sleep than when you are wide awake. Imagine a boardroom where the CEO has left for the day, but the head of emergency response is slamming their fists on the table. That's your brain during a dream. The function of this setup is why dreams are so important. It's what neuroscientist Matthew Walker calls emotional digestion. Think of your emotional memories like an arrow stuck in your side. When the memory was created during the day, maybe you experienced stress or embarrassment or a confrontation. It came attached to a potent chemical stress response. It hurt. The dream state is where your brain takes that memory, reruns it in a safe environment, and strips away the damaging chemical charge. It's like replaying a stressful event, but this time the brain is flooded with noradrenaline-inhibiting chemicals, which basically calm down the nervous system while the emotional centers are active. Your brain is running overnight therapy. It's not trying to tell you a story. It's trying to clean out the emotional junk drawer from the day before so you can start fresh tomorrow. Dreams are important not because they predict the future, but because they maintain your ability to function emotionally in the present. This brings us to the key insight. The biggest misconception about dreams is the direction of cause and effect. We usually think it works like this. I dreamt of a tidal wave destroying my house, so I felt fear. The event caused the emotion. But the interesting bit here is that it's actually the reverse. During REM sleep, the amygdala activates first. It starts firing up, processing the leftover emotional stress and anxiety from the previous day. You feel the fear first. And then your brain, in its chaotic logic-free state, has a problem. The amygdala is screaming anxiety, but the prefrontal cortex is asleep. The conscious mind hates ambiguity. It is fundamentally wired to create a cohesive story for everything it experiences. So, the storytelling part of your brain frantically rushes to invent a narrative, any narrative, to justify the chemical feeling of fear that is already present. If your system is flooded with anxiety, your brain scans its files and thinks, okay, anxiety, what causes anxiety? Oh, a tidal wave, or maybe a test you forgot to study for, or maybe a giant parakeet boss. The story of the tidal wave, the test, or the parakeet is just a rushed, nonsensical fabrication created to match the chemical state you are already in. This is the central reason why the absurd dream feels so important. The emotion is the only real part. The content, the plot, the characters, the impossible physics, that's the lie. A placeholder thrown together by a stressed out brain working without a script. But the feeling is the absolute truth. The sadness, the panic, the relief, that's the real biological processing work being done. Dreams feel significant because it's the emotions themselves that are the actual message. This changes how we look at our dreams. You don't need to consult a cryptic dream symbol website to decode the hidden meaning of the marshmallow men chasing after you. You just need to acknowledge the anxiety. Understanding this allows us to use our dreams as a kind of self-diagnostic tool. So we can stop obsessing over the ridiculous details and instead we can just ask, what feeling is my brain trying to digest right now? If you wake up from a dream feeling profound failure, your dream isn't predicting a new failure. It's telling you that you went to bed carrying unresolved feelings from your waking life. Dreams are not prophetic scrolls or repressed codes. They are the nightly maintenance crew for our emotional health. They are the guardians of our sanity, working in the cover of darkness to help us cope with the stress of being awake. They feel significant because the work they do is vital. So the next time you wake up from a dream where you were trying to escape from a villain who is wearing a lampshade, don't ask, "What was that lampshade all about?" Instead, ask yourself, "What was the feeling I was running from?" That emotion is the signal. Everything else is just noise. Let me know in the comments, what's the weirdest recurring dream that you have? And if you find this kind of content helpful, please like or subscribe. It really helps the channel a lot. Thanks for watching. Be kind to each other and take care.